Good morning and afternoon to all our viewers from the East. I would like to welcome you to today's webinar and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to this message on how to attract the top candidates to your open jobs online. For those of you who don't know who we are, I would like to just give you a little history and information. HireGround Software is a Canadian company based out of Calgary with our focus on assisting human resources with their hiring needs by offering innovative technology solutions. Start Date is a mobile-friendly and fast to implement, whether it's comparing candidates, making decisions, or posting jobs with questionnaires. Start Date lets the recruiter do their job efficiently, save time and resources. As a company, we feel it's important to offer education and support to our clients and the industry, which is why we have invited David West to present to us today. Advertising online changes so quickly these days, and we really need to have our finger on the pulse. I met David West about 7 years ago and realized very quickly that David does just that. He started working on the internet in 1995 as a programmer, and in 2004 started a full-service agency. Since then, he has been leading a team of creative professionals to help Canadian companies find success on the internet. David's company has the prestigious honor of being a Google partner, which is not an easy feat. Google is very picky about who they partner with, and it takes a lot of hard work and continual upgrading and learning to maintain this status. Social media and internet advertising means different things to different people. Regardless of why you choose to participate in a social circle, being half present simply isn't good enough. David is going to tell us how to be more present and use our social marketing to ensure that our job postings are seen and we get the candidates we seek. So with no further comments from me, I would like to let David start his presentation, how to attract the top candidates to your open jobs online.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Sharon. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Before I get started, I wanted to thank Start Date for inviting me to address some of these topics with their very important clients and prospective clients. Sharon, thank you very much for having me here today, and I'd also like to acknowledge Claudette, who is online with us, and Claudette's going to be monitoring our chat. In case you have any questions or if you'd like to comment, I may even ask you a question or two and would encourage you to actively participate in today's webinar with your thoughts and your contributions, because at the end of the day, we all know that the internet is moving at lightning fast speed, and it's very hard for even somebody like myself who lives and breathes and eats the internet to stay on top of absolutely everything. So your contributions today are absolutely welcome. So why don't we start off actually by having you go to the chat box on your webinar window right now and just introduce yourself, say hello to the other people in the room, and maybe comment about where you are in the world. So today I'm going to cover three primary topics. I'm going to talk about promoting jobs online. I'm going to talk about social networking, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about online advertising. These three topics that we're covering are actually a subset of a much larger presentation that I do for large audiences, and there is an opportunity for you to see that full session. And so hang out till the end of the day's session. We have a couple of special offers for you that will be great takeaways for you. And so there we go. Let's get started. First of all, I promised in the write-up for today's webinar that we talk about 5 essentials when promoting a job online. And oh my gosh, there's got to be way more than 5, but in 40 minutes, it's really hard to cover a whole bunch of information. So I really wanted to try to be as succinct as possible so that we can get through some really quality material for you today. Here are the 5 points that I felt would be really important, sort of the starting points for any business that wants to recruit and attract and then capture resumes from potential candidates. I want you to really give an awful lot of thought to creating an engaging recruiting site, a landing page, if you would, somewhere where when you are attracting people to your business for potential employment, really resonates with them. So I'll speak to that in a second. I want to talk to you a little about using social networking to recruit and expose to you some of the great opportunity and information that can come from that. I want to talk to you about hard and fast, black and white, pay-per-click advertising. When you need something done quick online, you need to attract relevant people in exactly the moment when they're thinking, gee, I need to look for that new opportunity, that new job. I'm going to talk to you about paid advertising. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about intelligence and analytics, and then I'm going to touch base on having a great applicant tracking system and a candidate CRM. And thanks to those of you that are commenting where you're from. I see there's people online from all the way from coast to coast, from Vancouver to Montreal, and I certainly welcome you all online with us today. Let's start off by talking about this creation of an engaging and recruiting site. And you know, in advertising in general, we often talk about what a waste of time and energy and money it is to drive people to an inappropriate or a bad experience online. And you know, it's really one of the things that many people do with paid advertising online that is the reason that their campaigns fail, is that they're driving people who are in a relevant and a legitimate moment to a page that doesn't resonate with their need. So if, for example, you are recruiting online and you're sending people to a landing experience that doesn't introduce them to your organization, doesn't introduce them to the culture of the organization, doesn't let them know that you're, you know, either a very serious employer or perhaps more along the lines of a technology service provider where you know, you've got foosball tables and ping pong tables in your office because you're targeting and trying to attract the millennials. And you know, that landing experience is critically important to conversion. And in your case, your goal is to get more qualified resumes into your recruiter's hands so that you can pick the top candidates. And shown on my screen right now are just some of the things that I think you should be considering on your landing experience. I want you to think about making it really simple for people to apply for the job. I really think we've entered the era where the day of a 50-field online application we have to put it aside. We have to acknowledge the fact that people are using mobile devices more often today than ever before, and that means giving them the opportunity to do the one-click application. And that means really acknowledging some of the great services that are available to us today, like apply via LinkedIn. Give people the opportunity, if they're not exactly in the moment, to actually take an opportunity. Let them subscribe for future opportunities, and you know, keep them informed. And as your business evolves and as they evolve in their own employment, they will reach out to you when their moment changes from investigation to application. And that's the goal of a landing page, making sure you have that great experience for your candidates. Keeping your job application process as simple as possible and ensuring that it's mobile friendly, integrating it with one-click application processes like the ones that are now available through the LinkedIn application are phenomenal. Understand that on April 21st, Google made a declarative statement to the world that mobile is here and it's here to stay, and that it's becoming critically important. We have some clients, just as an example, we have some clients where 65 to 75% of the daily traffic to their website is from people who are using mobile phones. And my gosh, if those landing experiences if they're not mobile friendly, those people are going to bounce back to Google and they're going to go and look for something that they can do with their phone. And so things like integrating with Dropbox, Google Drive, so that it's easy for people to attach or upload their resume from their phone, these things are becoming critically important. And I know that this is it's a hot topic in the recruiting industry with ATS systems, as well as, of course, just in general with digital marketing. You know, in the good old days of pre-internet era, some of us remember that. When we needed to hire the right candidate, we generally would turn to our coworkers or our employees and we'd say, hey, does anybody know anybody that's cut from the same cloth as you that might be able to come and fulfill this new role that we're developing? And to a certain degree, that's what social networking can do for your business online in recruiting. I'm going to talk more about social in a minute and the social of social versus advertising, but I want you to make sure that your recruiting landing experience includes the ability for your employees to share and for prospective candidates to easily share or syndicate out. When you build a strong social network and then you have a really social experience in terms of that landing experience for your job postings, you can reach out to the people who are following your business and ask them to help syndicate your job postings. I think it can be very powerful and generally will attract good candidates. I have this little slide here just to give you an example, actually, of just how strong a social community can perform for you. Here's a job posting going out on a LinkedIn business page. This was for an inside sales manager. This job posting went up and within the first hour had accrued 368 impressions on LinkedIn. That's pretty phenomenal exposure for a job posting in 1 hour. When you extrapolate and consider that there is a bit of a drop-off rate in social, in about 4 hours, we could extrapolate and say that this one job posting could be seen potentially by 1,200 people. Now, not just 1,200 anybody's, but 1,200 people who have actually, through their own behavior, attached themselves to this business. In other words, they're followers of this business on LinkedIn. And not only did the ad accrue 368 impressions on LinkedIn on that particular business page, but also attracted 8 actual click-through visitors to the job posting on the particular website. Man, and it doesn't, I mean, aside from a little bit of effort, it doesn't cost money to use your social networks. It takes time, energy, and of course, resources, but it's not like paid advertising. Promote and advertise your jobs. So we're going beyond social now in terms of attracting and actually going to go out and syndicate our jobs in as many places as possible. And your social networks are one of those. Of course, there's all sorts of resources online, Indeed, of course, being one of these resources. And so Indeed has quickly become one of the leading job sites, whether we like it or not. You need to consider these types of sites, not just Indeed, but the others also. Make sure that if they allow you to have a corporate profile there, that you're actually taking control of it. Update and nurture that corporate profile so that when it does come time to post a job or 2 or 3 or 10, your profile is nicely nurtured along and doesn't look like you were just as a business just born yesterday, if you would. With sites like Indeed, you do have an opportunity to pay a nominal amount to promote your jobs to the top of their listings. And on the Indeed site, they quote cost per click rates between 20 cents and on the higher side of $1.20, which I can assure you in terms of pay-per-click advertising is actually a fairly nominal amount if you really want to get the impressions on this type of thing online. Now, I understand that Indeed, just like many other services, have a greater program where you could pay, my understanding is up to $3,000 a month to kind of own your categories and really get your business in front of a lot of people. And I guess if you're a very, very serious recruiting firm and you have a massively large budget, it's something you might want to investigate. But I do think that we're going beyond straight, reasonable advertising and just kind of crossing a line when we're talking about rates like that. I would encourage you, whenever there's an opportunity to advertise online, that you really look for those opportunities that are going to drive traffic back to your own recruiting landing page and not necessarily advertise where it's going to promote the service, like Indeed, for example. I really want you to think about how you spend your advertising dollars in recruiting and spend them so that it's measurable and really bringing the greatest exposure to your business possible and not third-party sites. So give that a little bit of thought. I'll put it out there to you folks. Some of you are getting really good. I'm just glancing over at the chat window there. What kind of sites are out there other than Indeed that you're using? Go ahead into the chat window right now and just sort of type in there if there's other great listing directories or sites out there that you're using, and share it with the people that are online today. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are in that regard. The next point that I want to talk about is measurement. And there are two tools that, it never ceases to amaze me. We're decades in now, and it never ceases to amaze me how many people have websites and they have these landing experiences, the career sites, but they're not actually looking at analytics and data, and they're not promoting the use of the data that they can curate and aggregate. And so I want to remind you of a couple of tools that are really, free. I mean, not without cost, but free to you to use, that are provided by Google. And one of them is Google Webmaster Tools. And it'll help you to understand how your website is actually reaching individuals. There's a ton of information about Google search, how people are searching and how they're finding you available for you in Google Analytics. So for example, if you've ever wondered, does my website show up in search for a specific keyword phrase? If you're not sure, by going into Google Webmaster Tools, you can identify the actual keywords and phrases that people are finding you by. A strong digital strategy should help you to grow this number of keyword phrases that people are finding you for. And so having a holistic approach where you're using lots of different ways online will increase the number of keywords and phrases that people are finding you for online. So when I say strong digital presence, what I mean is that you're considering everything from factors in local search, search engine optimization, Google My Business, social networking, paid advertising, content creation, and even video strategies. That's what I'm talking about when I say a holistic approach. Now I'm just going to flip back to our little chat window here for a minute, and I see some people interesting. Job Bank, WorkBC, Kijiji, Workopolis, Career Builders, LinkedIn, they're all really great places for advertising and syndicating your jobs online. And thanks to those of you that have chimed in our chat box. Google Analytics is a tool that's been available for us for over 10 years and has evolved over those 10 years to being a very, very powerful tool. And so as people who are creating this strong footprint for our businesses online and attracting candidates and recruits into our landing experience, by using things like Google Analytics, we can really see what their behaviors are. What are they looking at? What are they most interested in? For example, could you tell me if the candidates coming to your job boards are looking specifically at jobs, or are they looking at the culture of your corporation? And things like Google Analytics can really help you understand this. I want to show you something about these two slides quickly. This is the same business I'm talking about. In the top left-hand corner of this slide, you'll see that in search, this business generated 8,027 visitors out of Google search. In actual data in actual traffic count, there were 26,477 visitors to this website, and incidentally, this is over a 30-day, one-month period. So 26,000 visitors, 8,000 of them came through organic search or through Google search. Where did the rest of them come from? Where did the rest of those visitors, where did they come from? Well, I can tell you that that additional traffic, the natural traffic coming into that website that isn't searching, they're clicking on links, or they're direct entering the website address into an address bar. So direct entry comes through real-world efforts like business cards and brochures and advertising. And the other traffic is coming through things like social sharing, updates on LinkedIn, job posting syndication to sites like Indeed, for example. And so that's how you get your traffic count up. It's not just through there's no one single opportunity that's going to accumulate to 26,000 visitors to a recruiting board. It takes an awful lot of effort and the creation of a very large footprint online. Applicant tracking and candidate relationship management, pretty big stuff. And I admit that Start Date are the people that I would turn to in a case like this, because I'm not an expert in terms of applicant tracking and nurturing candidates. What I do know from my research, though, in preparation for today, is that using, first of all, a mobile-friendly applicant tracking system like Start Date is going to help you to ensure that your applicants have the greatest greeting and the greatest experience through the application process. And I know at the end of today's session, Sharon's going to just talk about some of the new stuff that's coming to Start Date in terms of, in alignment with some of the things that we're talking about here today. And by attracting the right candidate and giving them a, one-step experience through an ATS, you can ensure that every applicant is managed appropriately. And, I guess this is the thing with tools like Start Date. I know from being a lead generator, from actually attracting people to businesses, that if you actually hit the gold spot and you actually get them to convert, and in the case of your conversion goal, get more applications for candidates, the way you do that is by giving them a great experience right from the way you attract them to the appropriate landing page through that entire life cycle. And then if you're not using an appropriate ATS or customer relationship management tool, you can fry your leads just by mishandling them. So don't put all this energy and effort into attracting the best candidates without having a really great professional process to post manage them after you've generated the actual resumes. So the next point I'm going to talk to you about is social networking. And this is something that is pretty dear to my heart. I got to tell you, though, when you socialize both, yourself as an individual online, or when you socialize your business, nothing comes quickly of it. You really have to nurture your relationships online if you're going to expect a return on your investment. And the investment with social generally is time. I want to start off by saying that in terms of social networking, all social networks have this one thing in common, and that is that they're centric on sharing and healthy sharing. If you think that you can go to your social networks and just simply pump out job postings or advertise through your social feeds, people are going to very soon drop off. They're going to become ad blind to what you share, and it's really unfortunate because when you have a strong social community, that's when you can turn to them and say, I need your help. Here's a job I need to fill. Who do you know that's the right candidate? And the only way you can get to that stage is by being social first. When I talk to business owners about social networking, very, very often when we get into the discussion about, well, why aren't you active on social networks, they'll say things to me like, well, I just simply don't have time. I'm busy running my business. And I would say to them, if you don't have time to actually be social online and actually network online, you probably don't have time to do that in the real world either. And really, the message that you send out to the people who are online and who are embracing these communications tools is that you're not very social. And it's not very good not to have time for the people who are interested in doing business with you or the people who want to become your employees. It is honestly where people are communicating. And back in the day when the phone systems first came out and the very first telephone, I'm sure it was very hard for Alexander Graham Bell to put forward that you will get a return on this investment. Everybody should have a telephone. Pretty tough sell if only one business in the world had a telephone. But we all know what happened with regard to telephones. And fast forward to today, and we have all these other opportunities to communicate. And some people are choosing to communicate with us through social networks. So you have to be present. I want to help you a little bit in terms of the vocabulary that I choose to use when it comes to social. Social media is a tool, and it's one thing to say I'm really good at social media. Well, I'm really good at opening my operating system and running my computer. It doesn't mean I can type fast. And I'm really good at opening Facebook, but I share nothing but garbage. Social media is a tool. It's a software. And I want you to start using in your vocabulary the term social networking. Start building a culture in your organization and in your own mindset that online social networks are a place to build relationships. And in terms of this concept of social media marketing, I really want you to start thinking that when you say social media marketing, what you're really saying is that I'm quite prepared to spam the world through my social feeds. And there is a very, very fine line between being social, building relationships, and simply spamming the people who choose to follow your business. Now, When you go into a business meeting, at the beginning of most business meetings in the real world, we are social. We talk to each other and we engage and we say things like, hey, how was your day, Dave? And how was your golf game on the weekend? How are things going? And how's your mother doing? I heard she was in the hospital. That's very social. And we do this so naturally and so organically in the real world. I often wonder why we're not doing it better online. And so when you start wrapping your head around social networking for your business, then you'll start very quickly identifying opportunities to share in real time and more organically things that are going to be very attractive, not only to your customers, but also to the potential candidate that's looking for their next great employer. And some of the ways you can do that is going to be through social networks. Now, I want to show you that, again, just through healthy sharing of content, you can attract an awful lot of eyes on your business. Here's another statistic out of another snapshot on LinkedIn where a corporate recruiting company has posted an article, ways to give your resume a makeover. And literally within one day, in a 24-hour period, there were 2,203 impressions on this update on LinkedIn, and within that 24-hour period, 29 visitors clicked through the sharing on LinkedIn to the actual website. Well, I tell you what, 29 visitors at a cost per click of roughly $5 per visitor is an awful lot of money if you were actually buying that traffic through LinkedIn's paid advertising opportunities. But just by being social and sharing something of quality on LinkedIn, this particular recruiting firm attracted 2,200 eyes on or impressions and 29 visitors back to their recruiting website. So social is to share. Sharing is key to networking. Mobile devices also make it very easy for people to share in real time. And so I really want you to strategize with your team about this concept of social networking and see where you can share more organically, more from the heart of your business, and increase the engagement. Here's some examples of some of the things that we will share on our social networks, and we have a lot of fun with our social sharing, and we encourage all of our clients to do the same thing. It is not ironically that when we share pictures of what's happening in our office in real time that we gain the greatest engagement. Now, you don't have to share as a business things specific to your personal life. I'm not going to suggest for a minute that you have to run out and build up a huge corporate presence on your personal Facebook account. That's not what this is all about. This is about humanizing a business and an organization so that you put forward the best foot for potential employees as well as your customers, and have some fun with this. To give you an example of some real-time sharing, there's not a single person on my team that doesn't have their phone ready to take a snapshot when we're in the streets of Montreal or if we're down south. When we see something that we think is worthy of sharing, let's share it. And so shown here in this picture, for example, is myself and my youngest son, who is a certified AdWords specialist and works on our team, and we're in Montreal at the time of this picture. We also seldom go into a trade show or an event where we don't share organically. And not only does it put us in good stead with the event organizers, but man, it just gets great engagement. People like to know what's going on in your world. So I do hope that you'll give some real good strong thought to socializing your business. And it's from the heart that it gains the greatest engagement, the greatest impression in social. But let me tell you what else it does. By sharing from the heart of your organization in real time or through a strategy, what you're doing is you're buying social currency. You're literally gaining credit from your social networks, so that when you do have an opportunity to post that is like a job opportunity, the people in your social network are going to engage that too. And if it's a little bit more on the advertising side, if you introduce a new product or service, for example, but you've actually got a really strong social community based on healthy sharing, then your social community is not going to reject you or introducing a new product through your LinkedIn business page, for example, or your Facebook business page. They're gonna get it, and they're gonna appreciate it. They're not gonna reject you, because in general you are already being a very, very good community owner, if you would, or contributor. So get your team tuned in, get them social, and consider always the opportunity to encourage the growth in your social network. Understand that obviously greater numbers equal greater reach, equal greater exposure, but encouraging the like from your point of sale, from your business, is the place to do it. Don't think for a second that buying 10,000 likes from the Philippines or India is going to contribute to your business. It's just totally not relevant. It just is not going to contribute at all. Look for those nice organic connections. Make sure that you're encouraging the like through your email correspondence, through your landing experiences, as well as in email signatures. Get your whole organization encouraging the like. The last thing I want to talk to you about here, and then we'll wind up, and it looks like we're actually pretty much on time to get you back to work here. I want to talk to you about online advertising. After I'm done talking about online advertising, I do have a couple of things I want to address with you very quickly. As Sharon intimated in our introduction, our company is a Google partner agency. It's a status that we are very proud of, and it really means that we have, through an education process and through certification of our team members, we have become experts in leveraging the Google networks for advertising. And I want to introduce to you 3 opportunities in the Google world that you can leverage to attract candidates when they are absolutely in the moment seeking a new opportunity. And the cost of doing this is really, it can be as nominal or as low as you want, or if you want to be very, very aggressive and market to the world, you can do that also. So first thing I'll say, though, before I carry on into these 3 opportunities, is that when I talk to people about paid advertising, sometimes people will say to me, well, that doesn't work. I tried that before and it netted 0 results for my business. And all I would say to you is that if you have tried paid advertising to drive relevant traffic to your website, if the relevant traffic is not becoming your customer, then it very, very often roots itself, going back to our earlier discussion, it roots itself in having a bad landing experience. Because my gosh, if somebody searches engineering jobs in Toronto and they click on an ad that says, we have an engineering job available for you, they click on the ad and they come to the website. Well, if you send those people to your homepage and not directly to the engineering job, they can't find the engineering job, or if they don't like your homepage, they're not going to become your applicant. So really understand that 50% of the success in paid advertising or in social, all these efforts, 50% of your success comes in terms of where you send people. Now in search, we know there's been a lot of evolution. The Google search results page generally has 3 paid advertising opportunities at the very top of the page. On the right-hand side, there's also paid ads. These ads are showing up in relationship to the keywords and phrases that people are searching. So when somebody sees an ad that resonates with their search results and they click on the ad, it's hugely relevant. You take them to the appropriate landing experience, they're yours to lose. Encourage the conversion when they get there. Now, there are corporations out there today that are advertising using Google pay-per-click advertising in the search network. Here's an example of 2 ads that I found with very little effort just by doing a quick search for an engineering job in Calgary. So in this example, NMAX and Husky Energy are both seeking engineers. Now when I click on the ad, sorry NMAX, I clicked your ad. It cost them a little bit of money for me to do this. When I clicked on their ad, it took me to a hugely relevant landing page. It was about introducing the candidate to NMAX, but more specifically, I clicked looking for an engineering job, and it says right on the page, because a career matters from beginning to end. And when I got there, it introduced me not only to NMAX, the application process, but the culture of the corporation. Showed me pictures of real people working for NMAX, not stock photography. And I just thought it was overall a really good example to share with you guys today. The second part of Google Search or the Google Advertising Network is the display network. Now, in terms of display advertising, these ads are generally image ads, banner ads that are located around the internet. I'm not 100% convinced that display advertising, straight up contextually relevant display advertising, I'm not so certain that it'll work for you if you're recruiting specifically people for specific jobs. Where the display network and image ads showing up on the Google Display Network may become relevant to you is in the third topic that I wanted to address with you, and that third topic is remarketing. Through all these efforts and getting people to the appropriate landing experience on your website, we're inviting them to learn about our business and learn about job opportunities. If they're not ready or they're not in that exact moment of need where they're actually going to fill out the application and submit their resume, they're going to leave and they're going to surf off and maybe not even look at other jobs for a short while. But once they've come to your opportunity page, we have the opportunity now to do what's called remarketing. And remarketing is about taking a visitor who's come to your website and further engaging them through the Google Display Network with remarketing advertising. It's really inexpensive to do remarketing. And if you choose not to use Google pay-per-click advertising to recruit like NMAX was in my earlier example, at minimum, I would encourage you to have a well-formed remarketing campaign set up with a nominal budget. Understand that the only people who will see your remarketing advertising online are the people who have already come to your website, to your landing experience, and looked at jobs. So consider remarketing as a way to further attach yourself and engage with candidates who've come to your job postings. Now, a couple more last minute points here. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat window. I will be happy to try to address them. And but a few points I just want to cover off. So while you're putting your questions in the chat window, I want to quickly introduce you to our team. My name is David West, and I'm the president of CAYK Marketing. I'm a founding partner of that company. And it is the cumulative evolution of providing digital marketing services to business owners across Canada and into the United States for almost 20 years now. We take a holistic approach to digital marketing because at one point in time, it worked to just simply have a website and to just do SEO. But with the advent of Google's algorithmic changes and with the advent of many, many more people online, it really is now about having a strong, holistic approach to give your business the strongest footprint possible in order to attract clients and customers and recruits when they're in their moment of need. That means being present. As Sharon intimated earlier, we're a Google partner agency. That means quite a bit to us. But I want to explain to you that the badge that Google lets us use recognizes companies that excel in Google products. We are businesses that are healthy, and we have a strong customer base. We've got hands-on experience. I want you to consider getting back to running your business and recruiting top candidates and leave the advertising to a Google partner. Here's one of the things I want you to consider doing. Today, as I said, was a subset of a much bigger presentation on digital marketing. We're doing that presentation for the very first time online in the format of a webinar on October 15th. So please make note of the URL on your screen and go there, RSVP yes, so that you get a reminder a few days before the webinar and come and join us. If by chance on the date of the webinar, I recognize it's a few weeks out, if by chance you can't make it, you will get a link after the webinar where you can go and view the recording at your leisure. So I would welcome you to join us for that webinar. I would also like to invite anybody online today to a one-on-one consultation with myself, where I'd be happy to do a review of your own digital strategy. If marketing is the thing that concerns you, then by all means talk to me about your digital marketing. If you'd like to talk more about social networks, social networking, and how to syndicate jobs through social networks and have great engagement, I welcome the one-on-one consultation with you. And so Sharon, go ahead and unmute yourself and I'll let you wind down today's session. And folks, for those of you who are online and those of you who are watching the post-play, I'm so very thankful to have you online today. Thank you for joining us.
I'd like to thank David West for this wealth of information that he's presented today. I know for a fact that I've learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know before, and we at HireGround are going to be taking a lot of this information back to our development team and having those things put in to help you have a better experience as well as having your clients. We take pride in the fact that we do listen to our clients, and that your suggestions and your ideas are what we want to help you make this the best experience with your ATS as possible. If you would like a demonstration of Start Date, feel free to give us a call. My number here is 1-877-218-7504, extension 226, or you can find us on our website at www.hiregroundsoftware.com. Currently, with our new system, if you don't have an ATS system at the moment and would like to have one, or if you do have one, we would be happy to import all your data into a new system so that it's you don't lose anything by moving over to a system such as ours, which is mobile friendly and easy to use. As I said, we can install these systems within 24 hours, 48 hours, fairly quickly. And you'll be using it in no time. So again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. I look forward to meeting you again in our next webinar.